That interview went to air on the East Coast 2 hours ago, and since then a great deal has happened in the leadership stakes. For this special Western Australian edition, I'm joined now by political editor Heather Ewett from Parliament House in Canberra. Heather, what can you tell us about what has gone on tonight, because it's been quite dramatic?
There is quite a lot going on tonight. The building is buzzing here at Parliament House. To put it into some sort of sequence here, what seems to have started this is today the Sydney Morning Herald reported that the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff had been doing a ring around certain MPs to gauge their level of support for him. This angered the Deputy Prime Minister, Julia Gillard. She felt that this was an act of disloyalty. In
the sense that there was an implication that he was testing people's loyalty because perhaps she wasn't being loyal.
And she feels that she certainly was being loyal over a number of weeks, saying that there would be no challenge, that she was satisfied the Prime Minister should be in the job. She stuck firmly to that line. Something happened after question time. I understand there was a very heated confrontation between the Prime Minister and Julia Gillard, instigated by him, where he suggested that there was some act of disloyalty on her behalf. This made her even angrier. Now, I think at that point, that's when things began to shift. My understanding is that Mark Abib, the Minister for Employment Participation, was then brought into the picture. He is a New South Wales right-wing power broker and was instrumental in actually getting Kevin Rudd into the leadership of the Labor Party in the first place. The fact that he then became involved in conversations really changed the whole dynamic. A couple of Victorians, Bill Shorten, a parliamentary secretary, and Senator David Feeney, a Victorian senator, are into this very deeply. And from that point, it then began to broaden. Now, a couple of hours ago, Julia Gillard went to Kevin Rudd's office. Senator John Faulkner went there as well after recording the interview with you. And
he had seemed genuinely
he knew
surprised.
Nothing.
I think he was a bit stunned.
He knew nothing.
But go on.
And there are other ministers who are very surprised as well. For example, Victorian Minister for Communications, Stephen Conroy, was completely out of the picture on this.
He is a prominent member of the Victorian right and was a faction leader before they came into government.
Precisely. So now it's really taken a life of its own on here. We have a number of people going in and out of Kevin Rudd's office. Julia Gillard was in there. John Faulkner, as I said, went straight in there. I understand that the Special Minister of State from Queensland, Ludwig, is now in there as well. And in fact,
if you're looking at this in a hard-headed way, if in fact most or all of the Victorian right, most or all of the New South Wales right, if their numbers are added to by the Queensland right, Kevin Rudd's home state, via Joe Ludwig, well then it's just about all over Red Rover, isn't it?
I would think the Prime Minister is in very, very serious trouble. And if this keeps on going, I would suggest that he's probably finished. There is talk around the traps that there may well be a caucus meeting called for Friday. The Prime Minister was supposed to go to Canada for the G20 summit tomorrow. I don't think that's going to happen now. I think this move is really on, and I think we may well see a change in leadership.
And all of this would have to be tidied up within the next couple of days, or it could drag on in an awful way.
Absolutely. It's also worth pointing out that Julia Gillard did not instigate this. It's just taken off because this is what some in the party felt was essential, and that's what's happened.